So, okay, that's a little odd, but that's how it came straight up. We're going to this Dark Mirror Oracle about your past life. Let's take a look. This past life, it feels a little bit like shadow side elements. Now, one may cross over through the next. We'll see what's happening. Wow, okay. Past life, you have hiding your true self, artificial heart, and fragmentation. I don't know what caused this division, this split, and if it was just within you or if it was a loss external to you. We're going to find out. It's something that was huge, this split. It's like after this happened, you were here but not here, biding your time, a little bit zombie-esque. I don't know if that's even a word. Okay, that's what we got. This is hiding your true self. I think it was a forgetting. Okay. Very much a cold and walking alone time. You lived in a place, there was much winter, and it felt cold all the time for you. All the time. I need to know if this is relating to a person or event before I go into here. Misuse of power. Somebody enforcing their power over your own when there was a connection that was strong and felt. It was thwarted, taken, removed. Like almost in the biblical sense where somebody sends somebody else out to die. There's messages back and forth that are false messages that you discover that, yeah, that's happened. Whoever it was, there's a story here where somebody lusted after you. You had other thoughts in mind, other people in mind, other persons in mind, and they were awful. This Hierophant doesn't come through as Hierophant. It comes through as somebody that misuses their power, takes advantage of you, and you end up very, very stuck. To the point that this person that you've lost, this love that you've lost, you find out that they've been killed, you find out that they are dead, you find out this person had this to do. It creates such a schism in you that I think that the reason I couldn't get whether it's person or thing, I think that your personality fractured, like split personality. Whether it was something that you knew or whether you decided you would present as two people, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if you were aware of this other personality or not. We'll look into this a little bit more, but this, when you found out the truth of the thing that had really happened, that somebody would want to control you, own you, possess you so much that they would take from you something and someone you loved so dearly, and that they would do that so they would have power over you. It's where you drew the line in the sand. I think this was a known schizophrenia. I don't know that it was clinical in the sense that you didn't know the other personalities were there, which is what we kind of think of. But you definitely would go and employ this zombie mode, way of being. You would be physically present, but your heart was absent, and you would never, ever give it to this person. The person that had done you wrong like this thought they got away with something. You knew, but you were in a position where you didn't have power to just say fuck you and take off. So mentally you took off. You played the part, you did the things, you got more and more icy. More and more in your own land. And in some ways, when you were in your pretend land of make-believe, others might have seen you as absolutely crazy, but you were happy there. You were in your make-believe land with your person, with your love. But this is like, look at this kind of climate and energy around here, and look at this. This is where you were in this icy, cold, harsh condition. And this is where your heart was. It's almost like you had an invisible friend. You knew when you were in your land of make-believe, in your fantasy land. You knew when you were there, but other people thought you were just talking to whoever, who knows. And the difference was dramatic. It was like, when this ended, when this world ended with this person that you loved, when they were gone, it took you back to somehow almost childhood, almost early teen years. Rather than inhabiting the woman that you were and inhabiting this power that you could have held with this other person, no, you went to your own light-hearted little land. It frustrated the fuck out of the person that sent the other guy to die. This person thought it would be a matter of just clearing the trail for himself, and that you and he would be like tra-la-la, things work out, power's there, he owns you now, you're his, he's done what needs to be done, basically you're bought and paid for. And that's not, it's not like you were sold as a slave or anything, but the dowry, the arranged marriages, the tra-la-la, everything that wasn't with your heart. Fate dealt you harsh on this one. It submerged you and it gave you a land to be. It's like, you turned your back on this person and you would go to your own place. Like, if you were in Celtic places, you might be where there would be fairies. There would be, like, you'd be playing with the fairies. You'd be giggling and dancing and laughing like a little one with the fairies. But nobody would see who you were talking to. 8 of Coins. You knew when you were in make-believe and when you weren't. This I did not know, but yes, you did know. It wasn't that you had gone schizophrenic crazy. Absolutely, you didn't know personality A and B. You knew when you carried personality A, which is doing what needed done, but you refused to give them the grown-up version of yourself because you were robbed. They took something out of your child heart that you couldn't get back, so you refused to give them the time of day. You went into your child land with the fairies, with the playful, and were delighted to be there. You could make sense of the world from your own point of view. And in the child land, you were fine, but they were not part of it and they weren't allowed in. You drew an invisible line of boundaries and you walked the portal of the world that you were in and the portal of the world where you wanted to be, the happier time that you could remember. You embellished the fucking hell out of it. You would draw in details and stories and all of this fantasy. And this guy was flat baffled by what had happened. He had no idea what to do with you. You were happy as can be in that land. It's like all of a sudden you knew that you were on this page of biding your time. You couldn't outright die. You didn't necessarily want to die. You just wanted to be happier, and you couldn't find your way back to it, so you were in this former time where things were delightful and happy, and that's where you spent your time. This is the fracture. Let's see what else is going on. I wonder if sometimes when you were in your land with the fairies, because I lack the correct terms and the correct words to tell you otherwise, it's what comes to mind as an example. With your land of make-believe, there were times when I think it was very real for you, not just make-believe. Not that you had lost touch with reality, but you had accessed something. You couldn't access it all the time, but every once in a while, you'd be so lost in the fairyland that you would see your love once in a while. There will be seasons, certain celebration seasons where his absence would be more felt to you, and you'd go in deeper. You know how at Halloween the veil is thin between here and the spirit realm? It's like that, except for it wasn't marked by Halloween. You talk with the birds, you talk with different animals that migrate, you talk with that. Makes sense. You started speaking very funny. You started speaking very funny. In fact, you might even still have, this is like, you started speaking very funny. You made up your own way of communicating. It's like you would call, and you would have this whole thing. And then once in a while, there would be a crossover. Once in a while. You didn't get full connection with this passed on loved one all the time, but every once in a while there'd be glimpses. And there was something about the natural timing. So the people around you that were the adults around you, and they saw you as very child-minded, they'd be like, oh, she always gets this way this time of year. Modern doctors might say, oh, this is seasonal effectiveness disorder. Oh, this is whatever modern term it was. It was like, yeah, you were going to try your best to get connection with that person. I think 6 times it happened. 6 times where you got the really spirit to spirit connection, but you didn't get it all the time. But 6 times you did, so you didn't just say, okay, I'm done with life, I'm gonna take myself out of the game. No, you would try for the connection, because sometimes it would come through. So you kept building that world. What a strange little thing. I don't know why there were 6 times. Okay, why there were 6 times? It was 1 time more than what was needed. It was like you were going to outlive this fucker that was the person that created this misery for you. You would be in your own space, in your own dream space, with your own wisdom. You outlived this fucker. You did it, you did it, did it. You held on, you held on, you held on. It feels like some of his family crossed your path, and you were in a position of power and in a position to help his family, which is why you held on. You did not know that's what you'd be doing, but it is why. Because when he dies, then you have more flight, more freedom, and you are, some would say, reunited with yourself or integrated, but that's not the case. It's how doctors would term what happened, but you decided when he was gone, then you were more able to be in the present time, less distracted by fantasy land. And you saw when his people came through and needed help, you were able to help. Anything else? A love of birds, a huge love of birds. A mimicry.
But I still have that April to July neurodiagnosed me.
Huh? This is where you come together again. This is where the true love and the appointed time comes again. This is after. Then you have the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. This feeling like you're announcing your presence and always looking for a direction. A little bit, I guess, rudderless. If you're a boat, the rudder isn't quite set. A little bit overly fluid in the now still from carryover. This is the Wheel of Fortune and the Weaver of Fate. This is just something you weave into, you dance with, and you dance through. This is not unintended or unconnected. It's threaded together in such form that it is like a tapestry. And although the cycle goes, and although this was the separation, this was only part of that tapestry. You're able to see that and recognize it when you encounter this love. There's unwritten knowings, hearings of a sort. There's still a juggling and a balance and a very much overfluid type of thing. People would say a little bit too adaptable, a little bit too fluid, a little less grounded than what you need to be. It's something you work on learning in this life. And there's still very much a guardian and a structure around you. This wouldn't just be him. There would be a guardianship and a structure. What do they call that? Almost like a stewardship that's due you because of how this played out then, because of how it plays out now. This stewardship and structure that you might have a little bit of a weakness as far as creating for yourself. Others can help you with this, and it's okay to reach out. Those that you trust can help you with this. And the damn truth is you still sit at the veil. You still sit with the veil here. You have very much High Priestess energy. You sit at the veil. You can see other side and this side at moments. Not at all moments, but at certain moments. You can see other side and this side. Be mindful who you share that with. That's a gift that will be there for... I don't know that it will never be there. It will always be there. Certain times you'll be able to explain and somebody might understand what you're seeing or seeing the wisdom for them or help them cut through. But you sit there very, very fair-minded. Yeah. This is High Priestess energy, bringing forward things in different time, seasons, and cycles. Knowing a little bit past, knowing a little future in a misty type of a way. It's not something you access or utilize all the time, but sometimes you do. You guard your heart, you keep your cards close to the vest, intentionally so, because of this love. The way you love and how you love is very significantly marked because of this perfect pairing, this perfect partnering. It's very significantly marked. In one lifetime and a next, you might not always be in each other's lifetime, but the perfect pairing is always present with each other.
Should both of those men be in my life still?
Yeah. Sometimes you feel a little bit of the betrayal. Sometimes you have to take your leave. This is the card of cover your ass, but mostly this is the card of somebody that has to take their leave. Somebody has to go, and you in this position here, still learning when you can be the one in more power than not. Still learning on these lessons here. It's okay. You're still able to go between the world of the child and the world of the grown, the world of the fairy and the fae and the world of the here. Anything else you need to know? Trust the connection that you have with that. Trust the connection. When you feel this kind of energy, is very recognizable. There might either be birds around or smells around from certain flowers. I'm not sure. Maybe it would be something like lavender or lilacs. Yeah, you'll still walk alone for a little while, and it's just not the end of the world. You're capable and ready. Your imagination, your creativity, all of this. You're more than aware of handling yourself on your own if you need to, if something is missing. More than capable. This is usually the growth of the prodigal, the hermit in the mini. This is more of whatever is missing when you need to quest for what it is, you quest for what it is. Lilacs and lavender. Somehow that's significant. I don't know when that will play in. You'll get stressed and worried. Don't let your mind be something that freaks you out. Step back, get the rest. If you don't get all the understanding of a certain spiritual download now, then, whenever, rest. Let it know they're just nudging you to say hello. Even if it's just like somebody that's familiar to you in a dream, but you can't remember all of the dream, that's okay. Just know they're saying hello and that they're close enough. That's the victory of just even penetrating, getting through. They're close enough. Their recognition, the recognition they're there, the recognition of the essence is there. That will be enough. That's from the other side, not just to do with this person, but just to do with in general, how you take information in. Anything else? There's huge victory in the recognition of being situated how you are. Like I said earlier on, we didn't know if this was her choice or not, and then we figured out, yes, this was her choosing. This was the way she chose to deal. That's okay. Yeah, totally, totally great. Wishes fulfilled, happiness, harmony, something that will transpire. This is a clue. This is towards this life. There's something where you go and you've got this 8 and you're missing for the 1 cup. This 1 cup is coming back. It's the way you process, the way you do things, the way that emotionally things come into balance for you again. It comes through. It comes through. A lot of people go on a 7-year cycle of learning, like a chapter of their life. Your cycle is 9. So you don't spend 7 years and then get a reset. Your cycle is 9. That's what I got for you. That feels complete. Going any further doesn't serve. That's what I got.